Hello, everybody. Welcome to Reality Is, where words do come to life. Look, what has happened with our city as it relates to the mayor. I won't call him our mayor, the mayor, Brandon Johnson. And I guess we can talk to Governor Pritzker too as well. That we have people who have been on the list for Section 8 for such a long time, and you open up Section 8 for immigrants. How does that work? How do you negate people who have a need? How do you ignore people who have a need? And you put out the legal citizens to take in the illegal citizens. They need to wait like everybody else. If you're going to clear housing for somebody, you need to clear for the ones who've been on that list for years. How dare you all? How dare you all to make the choice to clear the system for immigrants? They need to get in where they fit in. And I understand they come on here for a better quality of life. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for a better quality of life. But the process and procedures we have to go through to do what we need to do, they have to go through the same process procedures. Nothing is given to us. Nothing. You have to be considered whether you qualify for Section 8. And then you're going to give them Section 8. You got to be considered whether you qualify for LINK, but you're going to give them LINK. You got to be considered whether you qualify to get a county care, but you're going to give it to them. You got to be considered whether you qualify for a job, but you're going to give it to them. You got to be considered where you can get a car, but you're going to give it to them. You got to be considered for everything that we do, even paying rent, but you will pay their rent, and we got to struggle in paying rent. You're not giving us nothing. And it's our tax dollars that's funding all this crap. But we always talking about we broke. How the hell are we broke if y'all study funding people that should not be funded? They shouldn't be. And why would you sit up here and open up Section 8 for a certain group of people and don't do it for everybody else? Where does that make sense? And the math ain't mathing for that. That's just like shitting on people in their face. Where they do that at? And how do y'all think that's okay? So when the election time comes, y'all should not put Brandon Johnson in there. He was a snake from the get-go because he was a product of Tony Preckwinkle. That's what he was. That's exactly what it was. He was a product of Tony Preckwinkle. He was. And he didn't have good intention. So now I'm sure y'all would appreciate if Lori Lightfoot would have got back in there again, because she couldn't have done no worse than Brandon Johnson. This is ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. And y'all need to have y'all face slapped more than once for the stupid decision. How you going to open up Section 8 for only for people of immigrants? How do they get first priority when there's people who's living in homeless on the street and people who's struggling, paying rent and being evicted, which affects their credit, and they can't get nowhere to stay because you don't care. But you say that the Section 8 is closed and miraculously it opened up. Make it make sense, because it just don't. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.